Hello, this is Randy with Excel for Freelancers, and in today's video we're going to show you how to do dynamic drop-down lists that automatically change based on the selection. So for example, if we were to choose electrical, our category will change automatically. And if we were to do, let's say, plumbing, our categories and subcategories would also change. We are also going to show you how to add automatically items that are not in the list dynamically as well. So we really look forward to showing that to you, how we can add those automatically to the list just like that. Okay, thank you. Let's get started. Alrighty, let's get started here. And the basic premise of this training, you're going to learn how to create multiple lists dynamically, as well as types, categories, and subcategories, or whatever you want to call them. And basically, when we have a new item, we have specific types, right? And right now we've got 4 different types, but let's say we want to add one, flooring. Okay, we can add one. And it's going to tell us this is not in the list. Do we want to add it? And boom, just clicking yes, and all of a sudden it's in the list, just like that. Okay, we can do the same thing with category. We don't have any categories because we just created this type. So maybe we want ceramic tile, and that'll give us the same option whether we want to create it. And then we want to click brown tile. Let's just say that. And now we have it, and now we've got those. Now we've got in flooring all of those details, and we can create additional ones. We have ceramic tile here, but let's say we want to create carpeting, just like that, and we're creating it. And also, since there's nothing in the sub list, we can create, let's say, wool carpeting, and just like that, it's added. So we're going to show you how to add these things dynamically, as well as say perhaps a picture here. Okay, and we can add names, brown carpeting and brown carpeting. Okay, and so that is how we do that. And so we're going to show you how to dynamically add these lists based on their additional information. So I'm really excited to show that to you. Let's go ahead and show you how we did that. Now, some of the aspects of this video, including the load information, how we load it by selection, as well as add new, and as well as save as well. Those aspects we have covered in other videos, so I'm going to include links to those in the description below, so make sure you check that out if you do want to, because we're just going to cover those briefly. But in this particular video, I really want to go over the dynamic drop-down list, which is really powerful for any type of work that you are doing, and for any type of, for example, let's say we have electrical here, we could easily create wiring, and then we have different, let's say we have red and black, but we want to create blue. Just click in there and adding it to the list automatically adds blue wiring. So it's very, very, very simple. And so I wanted to make sure we get that. Let's go ahead and put this back to its proper framing since we've got this already. And then wood framing, and you see how those items change, okay? And 2x4s, okay. And you notice it's saved automatically in the table below, okay? So that's really convenient and really powerful. Now, let's go ahead and see how we did that, okay? We're going to go into the VBA model here under the Developers tab. Click on Visual Basic. If you do not have the Developers tab available to you, simply go into the Options, and under Customize Ribbon, you'll want to make sure the Developers tab is selected here. And so let's go into that. Now you'll notice that we have a good amount of code also on the sheet itself, as well as multiple macros here. And we'll go over those briefly. Some of them will go into more detail, and others we'll go over briefly. Attachments, how we've attached that picture, right? We went over that into a lot of detail into our attachments 1 and 2. So we're not going to go over that too much because I did go over that, but I will include a link to know about that. We also have items. We have save item, new item, and cancel new. Those as well we've gone over to other videos, into something called automated tab, load, and save video, where we did go over these, and as well as the tab macros. And if you'll notice here, we've automated the tab ordering, right? and I've gone over that in another video as well. So I'll make sure to include those links so that if you feel I'm moving too fast over some of these things, I did go over into detail. We're going to focus on the list macros here. And we're going to focus on on-sheet, the on-sheet code here, which is a little bit of code. It looks daunting, but it's not, and I'll go over that with you item by item. And basically, what we have here with the on-sheet, this is sheet, on-sheet, the items, okay? We have two sheets, right? We have items and we have lists, okay? Our list is basically a list of types, categories, and subcategories. We're then going to go over advanced filter, and where we add a specific criteria. And also, once that criteria is set, we run our advanced filter via VBA, and we get to our filtered lists. Once we have our filtered list, we also want to create some unique lists. Remember, these are types, categories, and subcategories, and these are our unique lists, okay? So it's very important that we have those lists because our unique lists change. Let's go ahead into the Formulas tab and go ahead and take a look at these lists and the Name Manager, and you'll notice that we have 4 lists. We have extract, but that's automated, so we can delete that. That'll become automated automatically. So we have 3 lists: category, subcategory, and type. And remember, these are going to be dynamic. So when we hit tab, right, and we're going to use offset, and you'll notice that in the category we have 2 items, and you'll see the dancing ants around those 2 items. Okay. If we use this formula right here, let's go ahead and zoom in. List, it starts with S4, and then what we're going to do is we're going to count. We're going to count all of the items between S4 and S99, okay? So that means that if we were to add an item right here, or 2 items, right? If we were going to add 2 items and then we were to go back into the Name Manager and go back into category, and you'll see now that Dancing Ants has been extended to include those items. So basically what we're doing is we're starting, this is our starting position. Then we're going to simply count how many cells contain text, and that is going to be our total range. And that's really important because we don't know how many categories, how many types, or how many categories that, or how many subcategories that we have. So we need to make sure that this is a dynamic list. It must change as our data change. So that's important. We've done the same thing for subcategories and the same thing for type. We used the offset and the count A to keep our list dynamic. So that is how we've done it there, and that's a really important part of it. Because basically what we're going to do here is we're going to take this list. Okay. We're going to run it through an advanced filter, and we're going to set specific criteria. So for example, if the type is flooring and the category is carpeting, then we need to know all the filtered lists. We only have one subcategory. Okay, let me go ahead and show you how that's done. Now let's say we were going to, let's go ahead and add new. And let's say we were going to add a water heater, okay, 600, let's go 60 gallon, okay? And now we know that that is plumbing. And we know it's plumbing. So now let's look what happened to our list. So we have plumbing here. So what we've done is we've created only one criteria. We've left category and subcategory blank. So what our advanced filter is going to do, it's going to take a look at all of this data. Okay, it's going to use only plumbing is criteria, and it's going to list all of the items with plumbing. Okay, it's going to list all of with the type of plumbing. It's going to list all the categories and all the subcategories. Then we need to get our unique lists. Okay, we only have, so it's going to take this list here and it's going to run it through the unique list, and then we're going to sort it alphabetically. So basically with another advanced filter, one more advanced filter I'll show you in VBA, we're going to take this entire list here, we're going to filter it. There's going to be no filter. We're just, all I want is the unique names. All I want to get is the unique names. And you'll see out of all of these, we only have 2 unique names, copper pipe and water tanks. So we're going to take this list, and that is going to become our category, right? That's going to become our category. So now you see our category has 2 items, water tanks and copper pipes. So remember why? Why? Because our category is our range. Okay, that is our category range. Now, when we select water tanks, right, we have a subcategory, right? Now we have multiple items on a subcategory. But we don't have a 60 gallon, right? We don't have that. So let's go ahead back to the list and show you how that's done. So now we have all the subcategories listed here, right? Because we've run criteria, 2 different criteria, plumbing and water tanks. Plumbing and water tanks. So now the list is reduced, and now what I want to do is I want to take all the unique subcategories and I want to put them here, and then I want to sort them alphabetically. So now I can either select, but we don't have 60 gallon water heater, so let's go ahead and add it. 60 gallon water heater. Okay. And it's going to tell us, hey, this 60 gallon water heater is not in the list. Would you like to add it? Yes. Boom. It's done. Right? And now you see it right here. Okay? And you see how it's automatically sorted alphabetically. And I really like that feature because it makes it really easy to find items. Okay? And we can simply add a picture here. I don't think that's right, but it's okay. And we can add a description here. So it's a super powerful feature, and I really want to show you how that, and then we just have to click save, and it automatically it's saved to the last row. So I really want to focus on these dynamic drop-down lists because they're super powerful for whatever type of application that you're going to use. So let's go back into the Visual Basic editor, and let's go ahead and see how we've done that with the on-sheet items. Okay. Now what we need to do is we have dimensioned, we've used this target count greater than 1. We want to make sure that avoids errors, so we always put that in. We've dimensioned specific ranges, okay? And I'll go over these for you, but we've dimensioned, we have one range for each and one range for the found. So basically what I want to do is I want to say if there's no type added, right? Basically I want to say if there's no type added. And so we'll do that. The first bit of code here basically says on any change of item, save in the table below. Okay, that means if we change this, right? If I change this, it's going to save right here in the table below. So that's what it's going to do. And how do we do that with such little bit of code? Well, it's going to say if there's any change to range F3 to J7 and B2 is false. Now B2 is our new record, right? So we want to make sure it's not a new record. If it's a new item, right? If it's a new item, we want to click add new. Okay, so we only have, if you look over here in AB, we only have 3 items. B is the selected row, and this helps us with our conditional formatting. Okay, new item, automatically we want to differentiate between new items and existing items. So when we click add new, automatically this goes to true, and that helps us differentiate. Okay, also when we load a form, basically I want to know the difference. When we load a form, you'll see everything changes here, 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 right? But I want to make sure there's a difference between a change when we load a form and a change when we load a form, like when we change a form like this. When we make that type of change, I want to make sure that type of change is down here. So the reason we do that is so we set this form load to true. And if you look very closely, this changes from false to true back to false again. You see that? So basically it tells us if we're loading a form, don't save any changes down below. Okay, so it says if B2 is false, that means if it's not a new record, if it's an existing record, and if B3 is false, and if we're not loading a form. So if we're not loading a form and it's not a new record and we've made a change, so there's 3 different variations there on both of those, then what I want to do is I want to get the item row. What row is it? B1. Okay, then I want to get the item column number, right? And the column number is basically when we save this information here, okay, we need to know what column. This is column I believe 5. This is column 6. This is column 7. Let me get rid of that bug. Okay, you see we've done that. Let's go ahead and make sure, let's debug that. What I want to do is I want to make sure that we have changed the selection change, which is our, Let's go change that to 14. Okay, we don't want to start on row 13, right? Our data starts in row 14. So that's an important thing. All right, I'll fix that. So now when we click there, we're not going to get that back. Okay, so now back into the VBA code we go under the items. Okay, so we need to get that item column. I need to know what column. I have the row. I need to know what column to save that in. And it's going to be target row plus the target column plus 9. And I'll show you that. Okay, this is target row 6, right? This is column, column 6, right? Column 6. F is column 6, right? So plus 9 is going to get us row. So what I've done is I mapped out. You see this 5? This is column 15. This is column 6. So when we add 9, we need to know, when we add 9 to that, we get number 5. I put this 5 there. Why is this 5 there? Because I want to save this data in column 5. So that means when we select a number here, and we want to make a small change, it knows what column to save that in. So you see how it automatically adds it. And we've covered that a lot in our auto load and save, so we'll go over. So basically that is how I get this data automatically into the table. And so that is what that code is. Okay, we're going to go over that briefly because basically I have covered that in other videos. And now I want to go into when we make a change to the type, when we make a change, and I want to make sure. So basically it says if we make a change to F5, okay, F5 is here. Okay, if we change the type, what do we want to happen? Okay, we also want to make sure that when we make a change that we're not loading the form. Remember, B3 load form must be false. I only want to do what's in here based on the when we're not loading a form, right? When we're not loading it. So what do we want? Well, first of all, I only want to run this if the target value is not empty. Okay, I only want to do this part if the target value is not empty. So that's an important part of that. And what we're going to do now is we're going to set the type range. Type range, we've dimensioned this as a range and as type 2. Remember we set a dynamic range type. Remember I showed you that? So this is going to set the type range. And then what we want to do is basically what I want to do here is if we've entered it, if we've changed it, and then it's already in the list, then we don't need to add it. But if the user types in something else, let's say they type in cement, okay? I need to know, is this in the list? If it's not in the list, put this pop-up right here. Cement is not currently typed. Would you like to add it now? Okay, so I need that to happen. I need to know if it's part of it, and if it's not, pull that pop-up. So to do that, we're going to set the type range, and then we're going to set this found. Now we've created found type. Found type is just a range, and it equals. We're going to use the find. Find. What are we finding? The target value. So the type range. So inside this range, we're going to look for something. We're going to find something. We're going to find the target value. Remember, it was cement. And we're going to use values and whole, okay? So basically, we're going to set this found type to look for it. Now it says if found type is nothing. If it's nothing, that means if it's not found, if found type is nothing. If it's found, it will be something, okay? If it's not found, it's nothing, okay? Then response, okay, I've dimensioned this as an integer, true or false. We're going to put up a message box. The target value, remember, cement we just had, is not currently a type. Would you, and then this goes to a new line. This causes a new line down below. Would you like to add it now? Yes or no? And then this gives the title. The title. Okay, so let's go look at that just one more time so I can show you again. Double click on this. See, we've got the title, type not found. Cement is not currently typed. Would you like to add it now? Okay, we'll click no for now. And so it says if response equals yes, then sheet 2, that's where we keep our list, C, and the first available column equals the target value. Now what is the first available row? Row. Well, we've defined that up here. Sheet 2 C99 end XLUp.row plus 1. And basically what that does is it's going to locate, if we go back into the lists here, and we go back into our main list here, it's going to say if it's not found, I want to add it right here. Okay, you see how the last one's plumbing? I want to add it right here. I'm going to put some out right there. So when we go into items and we click on this and then we click on yes, we go back into list, there it is. Now it's here. You see that? Now it's part of it. So now when we go back into items, we can see cement is now part of the list, and it has also been part of the list, and it's also sorted alphabetically, which I like a lot. So that's what that code does. Okay, so it says if it's not, then add it to the first available row on sheet 2. C is the target value. Okay, now let's go into this. Okay. Now what I want to do is once I have it on this list, what I want to do is I want to get the unique. Now I want to take this list and I want to know all the unique values, which is right here. I want to get those unique, and then I want to sort them. I want to get this unique, the unique list. So, and I want to sort them. So let's see how we did that. So we have here, and we've cleared out, this will help clear us subcategories, okay, and I'll show you that in a second why. So get unique type, right? I want all the unique ones. So let's go into another macro. Under list macros, we have something called get unique type right here. And basically what that's going to do is we're going to, with everything we're doing is going to be on sheet 2 here. Okay. So first we want the last row as long, and the last row is once again C9999 end LUp. That's going to tell us what our last row is that we need to work with. In this case it's going to be 29. So once we have our last row, we're going to clear our previous types. We don't want them, and I'll show you that. We're just going to clear out for our advanced filter here. I'm going to clear this all out because it's a new, so I want to clear that all out. And clear, I want to clear out any other unique types. So first we're going to clear this list like this. Then, so that clears out, right? It clears out all the previous types, and actually let's change that, clear out all unique lists. Okay. Then what I want to do is I want to run an advanced filter. There is, in this particular advanced filter, I'm not going to be using any type of a criteria because I just want the unique list. So there's no criteria. And the advanced filter is super powerful. So we're going to take the range C3 to the last row. We're going to run an advanced filter. We're going to copy that filter to another location. And what location do we want? R3. And we only want unique. Okay? So let's go over that. We're going to take this list. Okay? We're going to run an advanced filter on it. We only want the unique values, and we're going to put it right here under R3. R3. And then there's one little bit of code. Then I want to take that same list and I want to sort it. Starting on R4, I want to sort ascending and I want to sort normal. And I want to go, I'm using last row here, but the last row is much longer, but it's fine. You know, as long as it's over and above what we want to sort, which is fine. So let's go ahead. I'm going to stop this right here. Okay, and I'm going to run this. Okay, that's going to get us a unique list, but it's not going to be sorted yet. Okay, here's our unique list. I just remember I cleared out, but it's not sorted yet. And now all we're going to do is sort it with the rest of the code. So now when I run the rest of this code, it's just going to sort that list. And now you see it sorted. And now since we have data, okay, once again, formula, sorry, name manager, type, and since this offset is variable, you can see it's exactly what we want. And it is this type that we use right here, okay, under the data validation, right? And then it's type, right? So you see how that works? Type. Okay, so it's extremely powerful. So now we've got the unique list. Now we've sorted them alphabetically, and now it's here. That's why when let's add another one. Okay, let's call it roofing. Roofing. I don't think we have that yet. Roofing is not currently typed. Do you want to add it? Yes. Oh, and let's go ahead and remove that. Okay, we don't need that stop anymore. And now we have roofing at the end, you see? So now this is how we create dynamic, and roofing has no categories, right? Now how do we know it has no categories? Well, let's go ahead into that other part of the code and back into the item sheet, and now we're going to run a macro. We've just showed you how to get the unique type, and now we're going to filter by type. Okay, now we need one more macro called filter by type, and what that is let's go ahead and go into the sheet. Now what we're going to say is I'm going to run a filter. I want to know everything under roofing. And we only have one item, and it doesn't include any categories and any subcategories, right? So we've run the filter on type, and we've used the criteria as roofing, but there's none. So let's go ahead and run one on something that we do have. Okay, let's go ahead and say electrical. Okay, because we have categories under. We have two categories. So now when you look at electrical, you'll see we have lots of item information here, right? We have lots of them, and we have two categories, right? You see two categories, and that means we've taken the categories and we've gotten a unique list, and the unique items are two: light fixtures and wiring. So our categories are two. Okay, so our category automatically changed to wiring, and when we click wiring, now let's go back into the list. Now we have two criteria: electrical and wiring. So our filtered list is smaller. Now our subcategory is, we have three items in our subcategory: blue, black, and red. I know it's a little bit confusing, but I'm going to work with you on this. So now we filtered it by type. Okay, we're going to go over the same thing as under category. Under category, when we make a change to category, which is H5, we also want to make sure that we check for if there's a current. Now we have category range. It's going to say, is this item a category or not? And so again, it's going to say if the category found is nothing, then our response is this category is not found, just like we saw for type. Okay. If the response is yes, and here we've done two things. If the response is yes, then we not only must add the type, but the category as well. And I'll show you why. Remember, we're adding C and D here. Okay. So go ahead and look on the list here. And you see how we just added electrical boxes. Okay, so now we added electrical boxes, right? Remember, C and D. Okay, if we add one more, it's going to add another line: electrical boxes, and let's say plastic. Okay, so let's try that. So electrical boxes. Now plastic, we have no electrical, we have nothing here. So let's type in plastic. Let's try at least. And yes, we want to add it. Now let's look at the list. Now we have electrical boxes and plastic. So now our unique list is, for types, it's all this. And we've chosen electrical, so we have boxes, light fixtures, and wiring, and we only have one subcategory, items. So if we were to change this so here we only have one, right? Now we want to add another one, metal, same thing. Do we want to add it? Yes. Okay, so now we have two options, okay, plastic and metal. And we also, but look, when we change this, we need to make sure that this must change as well, right? Because now we're looking at a different. So now we have blue, black. So you see, now we have something different. So we have to make sure that if we change the higher up category, the lower category must change as well. And I'll show you how we did that. Okay. Once we make a change, we want to filter by category. Okay, filter by category. And let's go ahead into that under the list macros. And you'll see we have filter by category. And this is pretty much the same thing. What we want to do first is we want to get the last row of the major list. If it's less than 4, we want to exit. That means if there's no items. We need to set the type filter and set the category filter, right? We want to set these two filters. That is on the list. You can find that on our list here. That means we want to set the criteria, type to electrical and category to wiring. So J4 and K4, we must set those filters. That means that when we filter this big list here, right, we're only looking for items that are type electrical, category, wiring. You see? So that our results return only those results which have electrical, which have wiring. Okay. When we run the advanced filter. So that means that here's our advanced filter, CE to last row, advanced filter, C through E, and we're going to copy that, and the criteria is going to be J3 through L4. Once again, let's go ahead and look at our list. Our criteria is J3 through L4. What is the criteria? And then the results. So once again, there's 3 parts to this advanced filter. You take the original list, you choose what criteria you want to filter it by, and then you have the results here. So it's 3 parts, 1, 2, 3. So that's how that is done. And I'll show you those 3 parts. Part 1, the original data here. Okay, copy to another area. What is the criteria? Part 2. Okay, and then the results. Copy to range. Part 3 here. And we want unique. So that is how we run. Advanced filter is so powerful. So please make sure you understand it. Okay. The reason is also when we run 2 advanced filters. Well, I want to run 2 advanced filters here. One to get the data and then to get the unique list. So we want to make sure that we clear out. When we run an advanced filter, it creates named ranges called criteria and extract. When we run another one, here's another one right here, I want to make sure to clear this out. Okay, so that's why we won't, before we run the new advanced filter. And our next advanced filter is basically what I want to do is I want to take this information here, all the subcategories, and I want to create a unique list based on that. Okay, so I want to create a unique list based on this. And I want to put that unique list here. That's all I want to do. Create a unique list based on this information and put that unique list right here. And then I want to sort this list. So to do that, we're going to take range P through 3, the last row. We're going to create an advanced filter. We're going to copy that filter and we're going to copy that to range T3. Remember, you see there's no criteria range, right? All I want to do is get the unique list. So there's no criteria range. That's why. So I want to put that right under T3. Again, take this list, create a unique list based on it, and put it right here under T3. Make sure that these headings match exactly. One little typing difference and you're going to create a bug. Okay, so make sure that they always match. And we're going to create a unique list. So here we've created that unique list, and now I want to take everything in T4 and I want to sort it alphabetically. Okay, so just like we did in the categories, and now I want to sort it alphabetically. So here it's sorted alphabetically. So let's go ahead and add one more so we can see that name. Electrical wiring, we have blue, black, and red, and let's go ahead and put in green. Okay, green, would you like to add it? Yes. Okay, and now when we look in our lists, we have green here and it's sorted alphabetically. Okay, so that's how that's done, and now we have that option. So it's extremely powerful. We can assign a picture to it. I've gone over that in other videos. And I really wanted, so don't forget about the advanced filter. That's really important. So we've gone over getting the unique types. Okay, we've done filtering by the type, and we've done filtering by categories. And then each one has their own sorting so that we can sort them alphabetically. Right? We also have tab macros, and we've covered that, but basically all we have to do is with this macro is we just have to set the range of the cells that we want to tab. F3, F5, H5, J5, and different. So with all this, that's pretty much the only thing you're going to have to change on that, and just that allows us to tab F3, F5, H5, J5, and F7. Okay, so you notice those are the same ranges that we've created right here. So that's it for the tab orders. The attachment macros we've covered in previous videos, so we won't go over that. Code reset simply allows us to speed up our application. If you have a lot of data, you can use these reset code and stop code. Just make sure if you're going to use this, when you stop the code within a macro, make sure that you reset it before the end of the macro. So that is very, very important here. Also, this helps us set the tab order. When we go to another worksheet, we don't want the tab order. For example, when we go to lists, I want to cancel that tab order. I want to have a normal tab order here. But when I go to this, I want to have a normal tab order. Okay. So that's why we have to deactivate that. That's why we're setting Anki. When we deactivate the worksheet, we want to make sure it's false. And when we activate the worksheet, we want it true. Okay, that's for the tab order. So it's really, really powerful. I'm so happy you could join me for this video. This is one of the most powerful things. The dynamic drop-down list can be used in any type of an application for really any purpose. And it's really powerful. So thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to next week. Thank you very much. Please share this video and like it, and have a great day. Thank you.